Hello dear learners and viewers, hope you are hale and hearty and going on well with your studies. Today I shall talk about Arrival in the Orient. In fact, this is an extract from the novel Burmese Days by George Orwell, and you will get it in your text Unit 15 Lesson 2, but if you have a copy of new edition, you will get it in Unit 11 Lesson 2. And our today's discussion is divided into three parts. First of all, I shall talk about George Orwell and his writings, and then summary and critical overviews of the novel Burmese Days, and finally, I shall discuss Arriving in the Orient. Okay, now dear learners, let me talk about George Orwell. Okay, his name is Eric Arthur Blair. His pen name is George Orwell. He was born in June 25th, 1903, Motihar, Bihar in India, and died in January 21st, 1950 in London. His parents. His father was a British official who worked in the opium department of Indian Civil Service. Then he was brought to England by his mother for education. And now you see his profession of education. He is an alma mater. Alma mater, this is a Latin phrase. It means school, college, or university that attended. Eton College. Okay. After his schooling, George Orwell found himself at a dead end. I mean, his family did not able to pay for university education. Then he joined Indian Imperial Police Force in 1922, and after as an ASP, and then after working 5 years in Burma, he resigned the post and returned to England. Then he moved to Spain, and there he did a series of low-paying jobs, and then again he returned to London. And afterwards he was teaching in a private school in Middlesex in 1932. Then he landed a job with BBC as a producer in 1941, and in 1943 he took a job as the literary editor of the Tribune. He is a British or English poet. His nationality is British, or we can say English. He is known as English poet, novelist, essayist, journalist, and literary critic. His famous or notable works, namely novels, Burmese Days, A Clergyman's Daughter, Keep the Expeditria Flying, Coming Up in the Air, Animal Farm, in fact this is an allegorical novella, and 1984. His notable works are namely essays, Politics and the English Language, Shooting an Elephant. And one thing is very interesting, in 2008, the Times in London ranked George Orwell the second among the 50 greatest British writers since 1945. And his work is characterized by lucid prose, biting social criticism, opposition to totalitarianism, and outspoken support of democratic socialism. So this is all about George Orwell. Now one thing is very interesting, Orwell's work remains so influential in popular culture and political culture that the adjective Orwellian has become a part of English language describing totalitarian and authoritarian social practices. And many neologism means a newly coined word or expression we get from his writings. For example, Big Brother, Thought Police or Think Poll, 2 minutes hate, Room number 101, Thought Crime, etc. I will tell you later. Big brother. Big brothers means an authoritarian, the leader of an authoritarian state or movement, or we can say all powerful government or organization monitoring and directing people's action. Then think pool. Think pools means the secret police who discovered and punish thought crime. Thought crime means anyone who committed crimes against the government or the state. 2 minutes hates. It's a political tactic of focusing on enemies outside and foreigners. Room number 101, that means torture cell. Thought crime, personal or political thoughts unapproved by the government. Then again there is a word memory hole. That means it's a mechanism of altering or disappearance of inconvenient or embarrassing document, photographs, transcripts, or other records from website or other archive as if something never happened. Newspec. This is a kind of language used by the political leaders or the government that is intentionally difficult to understand. That is, it is ambiguous word, and they usually do it to deceive the people. For example, we can say a word that is issue. Issue means it has several meanings. First of all, we can say children produced by good sex. Next, we can say this is an important or critical problem need to be debated or discussed, or we need a lot of discussion regarding that point. Or again, there is a meaning that supply or produce something, supply or distribute something. For example, we can say issuing certificates, issuing passports, etc. So these are the word which creates always ambiguity to the common people. Double think. That means simultaneously accept two mutually contradictory beliefs as correct. Double think requires logic after logic. That means suspending disbelief. Okay. Proles. Proles means the working class people, or we can say that this is the contraction form of proletarian. Unperson. Unperson is someone who has been evaporized. Evaporized means when a person is secretly murdered, or we can say a person whose name or existence is denied or ignored, especially because of political misdemeanor, that means political wrongdoings. So, we can say this is all about George Orwell's Orwellian adjectives. There are many words like this. Now, George Orwell provides 6 rules for writer in his essays Politics and the English Language. Let's see. He suggests us never use a metaphor, simile, or other figure of speech which you are used to seeing in print. Next one. Never use a long word where short word can do, or short one will do. If it is possible to cut a word out, cut it out. Never use the passive where you can use the active. Never use a foreign phrase, a scientific word, or a jargon if you think of an everyday English equivalent. Break any of these rules sooner than say anything outright barbarous. So, these are the 6 important rules Orwell suggests us to follow. Now, I shall talk about the main characters of this story, I mean the novel Burmese Days. Here you see, first of all, Florey. Florey is a jaded 35 years European white man. He is a timber merchant. Dr. Bireshami, a popular village doctor. Euphokine, a corrupt Burmese magistrate. Elizabeth Lakerstein, she is 22 years old. She has come to Burma to get a suitable husband, and she has 2 motives. Number 1, she wishes to escape her fate, that means the life of drudgery and poverty that she experienced while living in Paris with her mother, and now she has come to Burma to live with her uncle, Mr. Lacaristin and Mrs. Lacaristin. Mr. Lacaristin, he is the manager of a timber firm, and he is very racist, and at the same time he is a lecherous person. Mrs. Lacaristin, the wife of Mr. Lacaristin, she always hints Elizabeth that if Elizabeth fails to get a suitable husband, perhaps Elizabeth might lead a life of drudgery, just like a maid servant. Mr. MacGregor. MacGregor is a deputy commissioner. Maxwell, an acting divisional forest officer. Mohla May, she is a Burmese woman, mistress of Florey. Ellis, an arch racist, also the member of the European English Club. And Verral, he is a very arrogant police officer, namely lieutenant. Okay. Now, as the story opens, we see, first of all, let me the background. The novel Burmese Days is set in 1920s, and in the fictional district of Kyuktada, based on Kathar, a town where Orwell served. Okay, now as the story opens, we see U Pho Khain, the corrupt Burmese magistrate, is trying to destroy the reputation of Dr. Veerasamy, a very popular village doctor, because U Pho Khain cherishes a desire to be a member of the European English Club as first native, and here Dr. Veerasamy is his main competitor. Okay, U Pho Khain begins campaign against Dr. Veerasamy. He is trying to persuade the European that Dr. Veerasamy cherishes opinion. Dr. Veerasamy is he is an anti-British. Okay, and he also sends a threatening letter to Florey, because Florey is Dr. Veerasamy's best friend. Okay. Now, Dr. Veerasamy, he also cherishes a desire to be the member of the European Club, but he thinks that a good standing with the European will help him or will protect him from U Pho Khain's intrigue. Now, Florey, a jaded 35 years white man, he is called a Pakka Saheb, that means he has high prestige, but he is disillusioned with life, he is disappointed with life, he has hardly friends among his fellow men, I mean the European white men, and he thinks that it is impossible to go to England, and he has a Burmese mistress named Mohla May, but at the same time he thinks that an European white woman would be acceptable as partner. Okay, and Florey's wishes seems to be materialized, or Florey's wishes come to be true at the arrival of Elizabeth Lacaristin. Okay, and in the courses of event, we see that Florey rescues Elizabeth Lacaristin from the attack of a small water buffalo, and then a good relationship creates between them. And when Florey is about to ask Elizabeth Lacaristin to marry, they are interrupted firstly by Mrs. Lacaristin, and then a sudden earthquake. In the meantime, Verral, police officer, that means a lieutenant, has come to Burma, and Mrs. Lacaristin sees him as a good prospect for Elizabeth's husbands, and now she intentionally tells Elizabeth Lacaristin that Florey has a mistress, Burmese mistress. So Elizabeth now falls for Bheral. Okay, in the meantime, the European club is put under pressure to select a member from the natives, and Dr. Birashami is the most likely candidate. Now, Euphokine has kept his crusade, his campaign against Dr. Birashami, and he also targets Florey because Florey is his best friend. And as a part of his plan, he arranges an escape of a prisoner, and he hopes that for this Dr. Birashami should get blame. Okay, but the rebellion, and he plans for a rebellion, and the rebellion begins, but soon it is put under control. But unfortunately, a native was killed by the divisional forest officer Maxwell. Okay, and later we see that the dead body of Maxwell, in fact, cut to pieces with the, in Bangla term, the, by the two relatives of the native he had shot, is brought to town. As a result, a tension creates between the European and the natives and the Burmese. But the situation became worse when a native children is attacked and made blind by Ellis, an arch racist. Also, he is a timber merchant, and as a result, an anti-British riot begins. But Florey, with the help of Dr. Birashami, is able to put it under control. And here Euphokine is trying to get some credit, but nobody believes him. So ultimately, Dr. Birashami's prestige has been regained. And in the meantime, Bheral, without saying any goodbye to Elizabeth Lacaristin, he left Ciuctada. Okay, so Elizabeth Lacaristin again falls for Florey, and Florey becomes happy, and he now plans to marry Elizabeth Lacaristin. But Euphokine has not given up. He hires Mohla May, his former mistress, and tells her to create a scene in front of Elizabeth Lacaristin in the church when the sermon is done for marriage ceremony. And as a result, we see again Florey is disgraced, and Elizabeth refuses to marry him. So overcome by a depression and this event, and seeing no future, Florey first of all kills his dog and then kills himself. And Dr. Birashami is demoted and sent to another district. So finally, we see Euphokine has been selected as a member of the European club. Now he tries to redeem his life and cleanses his sinful act by financially, by constructing pagodas or giving some monies to build some pagodas. And this is very common in our country, that after a man committing lots of crime, many people in our society, they are trying to visit some holy places in order to be redeemed, in order to cleanse his hand. And this is the same picture we see in the case of Euphokine. But it's a matter of great sorrow that Euphokine dies of a stroke. Even he couldn't build the first building of the pagoda. And finally, Elizabeth Lacarestin is got married to Mr. MacGregor, the deputy commissioner, and thus she fulfills his wishes, his cherished desires to be a Bora Mem Saheb. That means a very respectable term the native used to an European white woman. Okay, this is in short the story of the novel The Burmese Days. This is a simple story, okay, but behind this simple story, Orwell tries to give some important message. Okay, now let me talk about the critical overviews of the Burmese of the novel Burmese Days. The novel describes, first of all, both indigenous corruption and imperial bigotry. And dear learners, you know, imperialism gives rise to an unequal economic and cultural and territorial relationships, and this usually happens between states in the form of an empire, and empire based on domination and subordination. And George Orwell, and regarding corruption, George Orwell uses Orwell's use of Rudyard Kipling works highlights that imperialism is by nature corrupt. Okay, and this corruption stems from an unequal or an imbalance of power. Okay, and this is vividly reflected in a poem, The White Man's Burden by Rudyard Kipling. Here, this poem justifies the imperialism. Okay. Now, the nature of imperialism is vividly reflected in the speech of Florey in the Burmese Days. We see Florey says, "The lie that we are here to uplift our poor black brothers rather than to rob them." Florey also tells Veeraswamy that he and his fellow empire builders might be almost bearable, only admit that they are thieves. So instead of pretending uplifts the native, as it stands, the British there, including Florey, living a lie, and the lie corrupts everything from relationship. Okay. Then the novel also describes the relationship between the colonizer and the colonized. Disastrous impact of the British colonialism. It also shows how the British colonialism of Burma fostered racism, racial boundaries, and ethnic division. Here is in the view of the most of the European members of the European Club, like Ellis and Mr. Lacarestin, they view the native as black, stinking swine. The novel also describes how racism was used as a tool by the British colonialist, how to keep the colonizer's identity, a sense of superiority over the colonized, maintain a racial boundaries. Okay, and in the speech of Elizabeth Friends, this is vividly reflected in the novel. Here you see Elizabeth, the husband of Elizabeth Friends says, the natives, I mean the two champanwalas, "Stop, you bet, you two, or I'll fess one of you a kick." Okay, then here you see again this novel also describe how imperialism instills in the mind of the native feelings of inferiority in order to control the colonized natives, and this is vividly reflected in the thoughts of Dr. Veeraswamy. Even Dr. Veeraswamy thinks that the British here, the British rule has helped to civilize the people, to improve education and build infrastructure. I mean, a sense of hegemony creates in the minds of the native. The novel also describes the role of the European Club in maintaining racial superiority of the colonizer. and almost all the club members believe that the natives are black stinking swine, and very often we see at the gate of this club a signboard where it is written dogs are and Indians are not allowed. So this is the critical overview of the Burmese days. Now let me talk about the text under the title Arriving in the Orient. Okay. Here you see Elizabeth spent 30 pounds on summer frocks and set sails immediately. Okay, this is the beginning of the story. And here one thing is very important. Elizabeth has typical colonial mindset. Okay, her attitude to the colony is also characteristics of colonizer psyche. Okay, these two terms are very important: colonial mindset and colonial psyche. Here you see the colonizer psyche means they love the lands, the landscape, but they don't love the native or their way of life. I mean, they are very disdainful of the natives and their way of life. So this is the colonial mindset, or we can say the colonizer psyche. And Elizabeth has come to Burma keeping in mind this idea or ideologies. And in this connection, if we retrospect in the history, we see that after 1947, when India was divided into two, we were in the East Pakistan, and the ruler of the West Pakistan, they considered themselves the colonizer, and we were the colonized people, and they had the same mentality, same colonizers psyche. And we can mention that during the operation of Searchlight in 1971, General Tikka Khan, the then chief of Pakistan Army's Eastern Command, he ordered his soldier, I want the land and not the people. So here we find a similarity, that means the colonizer psyche of the British and the then Pakistanis. So then here we again sees the very vivid description of Elizabeth's journey. Okay. Then she was going to love India. She has formed a quiet picture. These are the also description, and here you see in anticipation she tested the agreeable atmosphere of club. Okay, this is very important. The club is such a place where racism is nurtured and fostered, and in this connection we can mention that in 1932 Surya Sen planned to attack the Pahartoli European Club, which had a signboard that read dogs and Indians are not allowed. Okay, so here you see the clubs, this type of clubs, they always nurture racism, and they always consider the native as black swine. Okay, then here we again see the description of the journey of Elizabeth, and again we see a fleet of sampans came reaching out to meet the ship, propelled by coal black men with lips stained redder than blood by Beetlejuice. Here you see the description of the native people. They are described as coal black men with lips stained redder than blood. Okay, so this indicates that what a racist. This indicates that the British or the colonizer, they always cherish hatred against the native. Okay, and they yelled and struggled round the gangway. Here the word again, yield. The word yield, instead of sound or voice sound, now the writer is using the word yield. That means we are uncivilized person, we don't know how to speak properly. That's why our talking is talking seems to them ill. Okay, this is very important point. Don't you go with him, Missy. This is the speech of the two Champanwalas. Not with him, bad wicked man. He not fit taking Missy. Don't you listen him lies, Missy. Nasty low fellow, nasty low tricks in playing. These words, these speeches are very significant. Here Orwell indirectly, or Orwell wants to say that we are the natives. Instead of seeking our freedom against the colonizer, we are now struggling, we are now quarreling among each other. And in the novel The Burmese Days, we see Dr. Bireshami and Euphokine, they are natives, but they are now trying to destroy the reputation of each other instead of uniting. Okay, so here you see the two Champanawalas, they are quarreling with themselves. Again, you see, stop your bet, you two, or I will face one of you kick, said Elizabeth, the husbands of Elizabeth's friends. Here one thing indicates that the colonizer, they always cherish a sense of superiority. They can anytime kill the natives, they can anytime kick or misbehave with the natives. This is their right, they are superior to the natives. And again, we see the train jolted, slowly stopping a little station where barbaric yells sounded from the darkness. Half-naked men with their long hair knotted behind their heads moved to and fro in torchlight, hideous as demon in Elizabeth's eyes. This speech also indicates that they think that we are barbaric, we are not civilized people, because here you see half-naked men. To them, the European people are the folk. They are very civilized, but we are very uncivilized. And our normal voice is not the speech voice, it is ill. We are illing. And finally, in the last paragraph, we see Mr. Lakerstein peered over his wife's shoulder in the torchlight. He gave a half whistle, exclaimed, "Well, I'll be damned," and then seized Elizabeth and kissed her more warmly than he need have done. She thought she had never seen either of them before. Here one thing I mentioned earlier, that Mr. Lakerstein is a very lecherous person, and he kissed Elizabeth more warmly than he needed. So this is all about the novel's Burmese Days and the extract arriving in the Orient. In fact, the novel shows the evil or the dark side of imperialism, and it also shows Orwell's rejection of the totalitarian or authoritarian social practices. So now, dear learners, now you have to do an exercise, and that is fill in the blanks in the sentence given below. Here you see 6 sentences, and the clues are floated, anticipation, cloud, skimmed, crawl, gleamed. Let's see. The ship plowed through Mediterranean. The fish skimmed in terror from the approaching hull. Next, in anticipation, she managed the agreeable atmosphere. The black snakes floated busking. The train crawled at 12 miles an hour, and piles of drying sea leaves gleamed crimson in the sun. So, dear learners, that is all for today. Hope you have understood, and now it is your duty to read the text and try to understand the meaning of each line, and then you will do better. Thank you. Bye. See you in the next class.